cramped confines, the air was arid. Upon learning of Pineapple Beer's identity as a reborn player, Jiang Li and the King of Egg Tarts regarded her with newfound respect. Given that you possess previous memories, might you divulge a glimpse of what the snowfields will become? While she currently enjoys a comfortable existence, an incessant sense of dread lingers in her heart. Pineapple Beer leaned against the wall, idly toying with her crossbow, seemingly organizing her thoughts. It will become worse, she pronounced softly. What you now perceive as the corpse demon is merely an appetizer. As time progresses, the nights in the snowfields will grow increasingly perilous. Those elite monsters, which previously roamed only the depths of the dungeon, will gradually infiltrate the surface. Undead knights, snowfield trolls, and even frostbone dragons will visit you nightly. Much like the current corpse demons. The King of Egg Tarts recoiled in fright, exclaiming, "Does that mean we are doomed? Therefore, fortified walls are essential." Pineapple Beer cast a glance at Jiang Li, stating that in a few years, we must upgrade to either the obsidian wall or the rune defense array. Otherwise, we would be utterly unable to withstand the onslaught of those monsters. Jiang Li nodded thoughtfully. It appears her infrastructural plans must accelerate, as the demand for stone and special ores remains insatiable. In the dungeons, Pineapple Beer pointed to the ground beneath. Such instances will become frequent. The rules will also become increasingly intricate. Beyond mere survival exploration, there will be faction confrontations, resource battles, and even puzzle-solving escapes. Naturally, there will also be pure resource dungeons as rewards. The malleability of this world is exceedingly high. Many items, magic, and technologies unimaginable in the real world will gradually unlock with the opening of dungeons. At this point, Jiang Li suddenly recalled something. For quite some time, I have had a question I wish to pose. You see, I have been tirelessly scouring the wilderness in search of treasure chests. Jiang Li sighed, lamenting. Look at Egg Tart. A mere kick can yield a bronze chest. Yet here I am in the snowy expanse, encountering not even a wooden box. Upon hearing this, Pineapple Beer glanced at Jiang Li and then at the innocently bewildered Egg Tart King beside her, a hint of a smile gracing her lips. Perhaps it is not a matter of luck, she suggested. Really? Jiang Li's eyes sparkled with newfound hope. Indeed, Pineapple Beer nodded. It is more likely that your spawn point was poorly chosen. Spawn point. Jiang Li echoed, perplexed. Yes, Pineapple Beer explained. The location where each player arrives possesses hidden attributes. Some areas are resource-rich, while yours, I fear, may lie in a resource-scarce zone or on the periphery of a monster spawn point. Such locations typically spawn creatures, not treasures. Jiang Li felt a lump of frustration rise in her throat. After all this effort, it was not a matter of bad luck, but rather a dire location. What a cruel fate. If being misled in real estate is one thing, to find oneself residing in a slum within a game is utterly disheartening. Is there any hope for redemption? Jiang Li inquired, can one relocate? Certainly, Pineapple Beer affirmed. Keep an eye out for a camp relocation card. While this item is rare, it is not impossible to acquire. Once obtained, it allows you to move your entire camp, including all structures, to a new designated location. Such a marvelous item exists. Jiang Li's spirit soared. We must relocate. Once I complete this dungeon, I shall trade whatever is necessary to secure a relocation card and find a prosperous site. Pineapple Beer continued. Moreover, there will also be visitor cards in the future, permitting you to visit friends' camps. Although you cannot take items or cause destruction, it allows for mutual observation and the sharing of strategies. Additionally, there are war cards, which enable you to declare war on a specified player's camp. During the war, their defensive structures become inoperative, allowing you to plunder resources and eliminate survivors. War cards? This suggests that not only will there be skirmishes in the wilderness, but even our sanctuaries will become unsafe. How harsh. Egg Tart King murmured softly. This is merely a reflection of a post-apocalyptic world disguised as a game. Pineapple Beer remarked coolly. Survival of the fittest. By the way, Egg Tart King seemed to recall a sorrowful matter. Pineapple Beer, is there any device that can automatically produce fuel? Each day, I struggle to meet the energy demands of our camp, and I feel as though my hands might be severed from the toil. My strength is limited, and my tree-cutting efficiency is woefully low. She massaged her arms as she spoke. Upgrade, Pineapple Beer succinctly replied. Enhance your tools, elevate your skills, or invest considerable resources to construct a lumberjack. She glanced at Jiang Li, noting her adeptness with the axe, which suggested she would not falter in tree felling. Being called out, Jiang Li could not help but chuckle. All right, Egg Tart, when you need wood, seek me out, and when I require food, I shall turn to you. This is what we call complementary advantages. Yay. You are the best, my esteemed leader. Egg Tart King exclaimed, nearly leaping with joy. Leader, let us first become friends. In the desolate expanse of the snowfield, communication with others had fallen silent. After some time had passed without any action from the two, Dan Tart felt compelled to voice a reminder. Having fought alongside each other, Jiang Li naturally did not wish to exclude a friend, thus she acquiesced. You're just a spicy chicken leg burger, she remarked upon glancing at the friend request, prompting Pineapple Beer to exclaim in surprise. Indeed, how could I not recognize you? The crossbow I crafted is unmistakable to me, Jiang Li replied with a smile. So, you are ranked first, and you are ranked second. Hee, we three are truly formidable, Dan Tart chuckled foolishly. The group continued to discuss matters regarding resource allocation and future development, and before they realized it, time had slipped away. The trio leaned against each other, resting in the safety of their small chamber to regain their strength. Within the dungeon, Jiang Li found it hard to sleep, and after dozing off for a while, she groggily awakened. Rubbing her eyes, she opened the dungeon zone channel. Upon seeing the messages, all remnants of sleep vanished. The channel had erupted in chaos. Help! Someone save me. I'm being chased. It's madness. Complete madness. That one called Crazy Blade has even killed teammates from our earlier party. Don't go to the hall. Don't go to the first floor hall. It's a slaughterhouse there. These brutes are blocking the teleportation portal and killing everyone. Haraha. Kill. Hand over your items. As long as I kill you, everything you have will belong to me. Zhongli glanced at the countdown timer. Remaining time, 0:28:15, the final half hour. The entire dungeon had descended into utter chaos. Those nefarious individuals who had previously concealed their true intentions had now torn off their masks. Since eliminating others could yield their gathered resources, why toil away fighting monsters? Wouldn't it be far swifter to simply kill and plunder? Especially in the first floor hall, which had once been considered a safe zone. At this moment, it had likely transformed into a veritable hell on earth. Countless players, hoping to teleport back, had become easy prey for the organized and scheming factions. It was a horrific sight. Dantart gazed at the desperate pleas flooding the channel, his face pale. How could they act this way when they were all human? This was the essence of humanity in dire straits. Pineapple Beer slowly opened her eyes, her expression devoid of emotion. She had witnessed such scenes far too often in her previous life, even more brutal and bloody than this. To survive, to grow stronger, for those scant resources. Humanity could be more ruthless than beasts. Stop looking, Pineapple Beer said, reaching out to close Dantart's panel. It's futile. We cannot save so many. This is merely an adventure dungeon. Even if they die, they will only be teleported back to the snowfield. Some dungeons offer but a single life. In this world, compassion was the most inexpensive yet perilous commodity. Zhongli remained silent, her gaze fixed on Pineapple Beer's eyes, which seemed to see through everything, causing a lump to form in her throat. Though reason told her that Pineapple Beer was right, and that their current state was ill-suited for heroics. The tragic sense of kin against kin still sent a chill down her spine. Is this the world we must confront in the future? Zhongli tightened her grip on the twin axes in her hands. If the world is destined to be this dark, then the only thing she can do is to become strong enough that no one would dare to wield a slaughtering knife against her. Strong enough that perhaps one day, she would possess the power to change it all. There are still 20 minutes left. Zhongli took a deep breath. Her gaze resolutely firm once more. It is time to prepare. The moment the teleportation beam illuminates, we shall return home. Home. The King of Egg Tarts nodded vigorously, clasping Zhongli's hand tightly. Chapter 36. Return to the snowfield. The white teleportation beam suddenly illuminated the snowfield before quickly dissipating. Zhongli felt a flicker before her eyes, and when she opened them again, she found herself atop the snowfield once more. Beneath her feet lay the familiar frozen earth, encircled by sturdy stone walls. With the campfire at the center crackling softly, radiating warmth. Glancing at the system time, she noted it was already noon, evidently. The flow of time within the instance differed somewhat. A nest of my own is better than a gilded cage. Even if this nest is situated in a post-apocalyptic snowfield, perilously close to being surrounded by monsters, returning here brings a sense of security that no other place can offer. Before she could turn to assess the camp's condition, a sudden flurry of footsteps approached from behind. Guggy. Accompanied by a delighted exclamation, a warm body collided with her. Zhongli stumbled back a step and turned to see Ni-ko clinging tightly to her waist, burying her face in Zhongli's work attire, nuzzling against it. The disheveled pink-blue hair was speckled with wood shavings, rendering her both adorable and comical. Guggy. She lifted her head, her large, emerald eyes brimming with tears. Her small mouth opening and closing rapidly, producing a string of hurried syllables. Although the words were unintelligible, Zhongli could sense the urgency behind them. Where did you go? Why did you vanish so suddenly? I was so worried about you. A wave of tenderness washed over Zhongli. She had left in such haste that she hadn't had the chance to properly explain to Ni-ko. This little one had been left to guard such a vast camp alone and must have been terrified. Everything is fine now. Everything is fine, Zhongli reassured her, gently patting her back. I'm back. See, I'm perfectly all right. She retrieved a speed cookie she had casually saved from the instance, holding it to Ni-ko's lips. Here, a treat for you. Ni-ko sniffed the air, catching the sweet aroma. She blinked, tears still clinging to her lashes. But her mouth obediently opened, and she took a hearty bite of the cookie, watching her chew while still tightly grasping the hem of Zhongli's clothing. Zhongli couldn't help but smile. Once she had comforted Ni-ko, Zhongli finally had the time to survey her surroundings. To her astonishment, the once somewhat empty courtyard was now brimming with items. On the left side stood neatly arranged branches, stacked like a small wall. Given the precision of the cuts, it was evident that they had been severed with claws or some sharp instrument. On the right side, there lay a large heap of stones of varying sizes. Some were quite substantial, while others were diminutive, and some were merely ordinary pebbles, haphazardly piled together. The snow-covered ground was littered with chaotic footprints, as well as deep ruts left by the passage of sleds. Zhongli turned to look at Ni-ko, who was swallowing the last bite of a cookie. Upon noticing Zhongli's gaze lingering on the spoils, she immediately lifted her little chin, her face adorned with a proud expression seeking praise. Look! She pointed at the logs, then at herself, and mimicked a bear swiping its paws. See, I did all this. Aren't I impressive? Zhongli was taken aback. She had initially thought that Ni-ko would merely manage to care for herself at home, but to her astonishment, this little one had transformed into a diligent worker. While she was away, Ni-ko had emulated her, turning into a bear to chop wood and gather stones. Goodness! Zhongli approached and touched the wood. Ni-ko, you are incredible, she exclaimed, ruffling her hair generously with praise. You are truly remarkable, even better than I am. Ni-ko's eyes narrowed into crescent shapes from the flattery, and her non-existent tail seemed to wag with glee. So chubby, so chubby. Ni-ko is very chubby. Jiang Li stood up and summoned the system interface. Recycle.